Привет, друзья! Это шоу «Фак» и я Марией Маслий. Сегодня мы говорим с креативным директором агентства Trend Гертом Кеукеном. Hi, Gert. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Maria.
you.
So, you have a very interesting job. You work in trend forecasting agency. Can any person work there, or do you need any special skills for this? Special feeling?
This is now not filmed, no? This is now filmed or not filmed, no?
Yeah, it is filmed, but it will be cutted as.
Okay, it's just going on.
Yeah.
I thought it was just behind the camera. Okay. No, I think everybody can do this. I think this job we do. I work in Trend Union, which is founded by Liederwijl Edecourt more than 25 years ago. And I started working there without knowing exactly what it meant, what it was meaning, this job. And it is a job where you trust on your intuition. So intuition is the guidance of expression. So it's gathering all information you feel attracted by, you feel sensibilities, you feel signs that might come out of music, literature, art, of course, design, fashion, foods, everything which is sensorial, also about space, perfumes.
But is it the matter of experience as well?
Yeah, well, it becomes an experience, and I think it has basically, it's grounded on curiosity, and this curiosity makes the mind creative, because curiosity is driven by intuition, taking things, sketching things without any choice of saying, well, this I don't like or this I never liked. It's just very general, very open-minded, and just let come in all this information, and then have the capacity to first, of course, stocking all this info, and then, of course, knowing how to analyze or how to make choices out of this. Saying, well, all these signs are being troubling in my mind, or give me information, and then about color, about material, about style, when it comes to fashion, for example. Yeah, and then you can put it into picture by finding also visuals, because we work very much with visuals, and then it can become a color, or a word, or sound, or a material. Yeah, so it's then it comes into an expression of an analysis. Then you can say, well, we see that maybe here there might be a trend which is working to become an information or a sign important to follow or to observe, an indicator to be aware of, which will help to formulate for different industries the decision for a color for a fabric or a print, or a choice of a material, or the choice of a design of an object.
And how have this way of analysis changed from 25 years ago and now?
Well, the way of analyzing didn't change. Maybe we went through a period of experience and expertise. I mean, going much faster. The exercise is the same. The information is much broader and much vast, I mean, much bigger. Also through, because of all these offers of all this information which are coming from online and from all sides. And as we work from the online information, but also the physical information, the natural information, the spatial information, or science. So yeah, it becomes more complex. That makes our job also become more complex, and we take that also very much more in consideration. So the way of analyzing and the expression, yeah, the speed is a little bit different, and also the exercise of execution is different. Sometimes things are going very, very fast, but we as, let's say, trend forecasters, we work on a much more profound and longer wave base. If we analyze the work we do, which we, let's say, name like being an archaeologist for the future, yes, taking fragments and bits and pieces and elements and put this all together and then analyze and then make it into a format of presentation to become a vehicle to communicate with, but also to inspire, to be inspired by for industries.
Are there any institutions or universities where you can study how?
Yeah, there are universities now. We have a lot of activities and interactions with educational programs, schools. Liedewij Edekort is Dean of Hybrid Design in Parsons School in New York. We work with design schools in France, the Netherlands. We have a lot of workshops done with groups of students who do specific topics on trend forecasting studies in our company. Yeah, so that's very vital, because we believe that the most vital thing is education and culture. And also these educational programs now are also going to be active on a more professional level, not putting professionals back to school, but at least to give them possibilities to grow with the evolving society of production, innovation in new materials, style-wise, design-wise, and so forth. So yeah, the educational factor is extremely important.
You know, I feel that there are too much information now everywhere and too many trends, and it is so like it is extremely active everywhere around. How can a person stay balanced and comfortable in this variety of information and trends, and how can we say this feeling like not to miss something?
Well, that's the fear of missing something. I don't think we miss anything. I think it's just the over-consumerism of information. I think this is also a problem of being under-educated of how to make choices of all these offers, which is natural, because there have been powers who have all this monopoly of giving all these inputs, and as consumers not necessarily being well trained to to take reception, but also especially to make choices. And then the most difficult thing is also to digest all the information, and then not knowing exactly what kind of choices, for what are the choices the best. This is for the general consumer going on all the info situation, but especially where we work on, that's why we work so close with industry, B2B, is that the industry has also, you know, a lot of info, what the competitors are doing, all the marketing, how the markets are behaving, the figures, you know. So also they have difficulties to make the right choices. So it's there where we, besides of trend forecasters, also do very much this forecasting or helping or preventing and guidance of making the right choices, to be well prepared and to maintain the process of a better, meaningful expression of design or producing.
In your point of view, what generation is more difficult to understand? For example, don't you feel the difference between millennials and Generation Z?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of difference between generations nowadays.
And how to appeal to them?
Well, but at the same time, there is also common factors. So I think we have to also to de-dramatize all these differences. I think we have to be much more occupied by how creating togetherness and fusion and respecting differences within gender, within age, the meaning generations. There is a common factor we believe very much in is humanity. I think at the end point there are a lot of common factors, there are different factors, so we have to distinguish what is more important for the younger ones and what is more important for the older ones, but at the same time we also see that similar factors are valuable. So I think all this stressing out of segmentation between man, women, child, older, high, low, hard, soft. This is something we have to fade, and we see that also younger generation are much more concerned of how to become better with others. Well, I hope, but we believe we have to be optimistic. And I think there's an interest in this, and I think an interest more in general about how to become better and have better lives, about well-being. Yeah, so we are quite optimistic, and I think since there is new signs of investments done, but also through mistake or results, negative results of nowadays situation, which have been initiated a long time ago, and since everything has been so over-marketed, that suddenly this marketing-driven system based on former facts for today and tomorrow are suddenly not working, because the end consumer is more and more a decision maker, and they go very fast in their decisions and not following necessarily fast decision making results of industry. So yeah, there is let's say a struggle, maybe sometimes a war, but there is also a new activism in how to balance all this, to create also a new harmony. And this harmony can be very various. We can have different sort of movements. Yeah, so it's again, I think we are in a wave of creating new movement, more flexibility.
But don't you feel that sometimes trend forecasting agencies, they dictate trends to brands, and and in the end, it kills creativity from their side?
Well, dictature might always frame or stop creativity, but at the same time it will also revolt action and revolution, and then again also creativity. So it's both. So we see this nowadays in the political landscape, which is overrulingly dominating. And so yeah, there is a lot of areas where I think the public wants to be combative, but at the same time we're also in a situation which is a little bit of a paradox of comfort. People want to have comfort and security, and there's this danger of conservatism, to preserve, which is good to conserve and preserve nature and natural sources, but I don't think it's good to preserve and conserve moralistic situations. I think we have to be very careful.
some time ago we talked a lot about consumer society, and now it's very popular to discuss individualism. So which trends in the evolution of consumer habits can you predict?
Well, we see that consumer habits is showing their power. I wouldn't say they're showing their change, just showing their power. Is that a lot of a new generation of consumers are not willing or not feeling need to consume anymore same things as maybe their parents or their older siblings, and that is started since recently, since the last 10-5 years. It's suddenly there's a change. There's a change also of the perception of possession. Rather be freer than to possess. Rather have visible wealth, but better have more inner comfort. So the values and the investments are going through a different change in Europe, but also in the other developing countries very quickly. Very much underestimated by luxury, big industry. They make decisions.
How do you think can robots change creators?
No, robot cannot change creators. Robot can produce and make. Now you want to try to come back on this artificial intelligence. This is,
I've seen.
Well, but I mean, this robot is a robot. This, I mean, we have seen this in the car industry for so many years already. So that might maybe help us to get more service from robots on certain levels, maybe in care, healthcare assistance, but to create more human presence on other levels. And I think the humanity aspect is from a vital need. And that means that probably we have to be more aware of how to balance artificial intelligence and intuition and instincts. We human beings, with the nature, with the power of the plants and the animals, and all the other elements, like the cosmos or whatever. I mean, it's still learning again. It's still going through this period of emancipation, like an environmental emancipation and a social emancipation.
I'm asking this question as recently I've seen a competition between robots that made art objects, and it was so insane. I thought that they really can compete.
Yeah, but how? What? Then you have to question what does art means. So maybe start from that.
Yeah. Okay. It's not your first time in Ukraine.
No. I hope not my last time. So
I hope so too.
I'd like to come here.
So how do you find changes in Ukraine from the previous time and now?
Well, the time to really detect changes. I mean, I have been here last time, and the time period of spending here is always it's very compact and short because of time and. I've seen evolutions here, changes, which I also detect in other countries, in the Western, but also in the more Eastern. New generation taking profit of consumerism, but in a new way, which is also detectable in Ukraine, and especially Kiev, considered as a capital. While you're still in a conflictual, let's say, difficult situation, but there are very a lot of common factors. I feel and see in the surroundings that a certain category of people active in creativity and design education, very much aware about local values and local production, materials, how can we bring that up. I see a huge interest also here in the nature, like floral gardening, even when it's the very local one, the traditional one, but put it into a new context, in a new setting. Yeah, and then there's all this food design, new bars to be together, to enjoy a coffee with a pastry, and based on traditional things. So it's also local, and then it comes into a more modernistic, maybe a little bit lighter. Maybe we put a little bit less salt, or less sugar, or less oil, to be also in shape, because we are now in physical conditions maybe a little bit better, and not necessarily working on the fields. But the way of cooking, preparing, offering is somehow the same. So I see there is. We had today this very nice presentation, and I felt the public, the room, more a little bit more happier, a little bit more optimistic. Maybe the fact it was spring, but at the same time it was snowing. So the snow gave beautiful light, but nevertheless it was cold. I felt more keener. I think a little bit sharper, knowing that they have to come to a point where there is not only thinking, because I think we have been thinking a long time, and we have been waiting a long time. So now I think we have to do. I mean, you have to do. They feel like I feel that they want to do now. So they have been thinking, now they want to go into making, acting. So that's good. That's positive.
It's pleasant to hear.
Yeah, well, you have to be optimistic, because we cannot continue in general in the world to be negative and pessimistic and depressed because of all these signs coming through the media, who makes us very desperate and sad and give a lot of fear. Now we have to be more combative. And I see all this young generation, they have been studying, they have been investing with energy in what they believe best is for them to do, but also for society and also for the country or for the industry. And they have to let it come to act. So I felt the audience a little more mobilized, without going and making a revolution in the street with arms, but mobilized,
active,
emotionally, with the heart and mentally, and that make them physically also stronger to work harder and maybe even longer and better. So
I hope we'll see the results.
So I hope next year, or maybe even 6 months, to see a next step.
Good. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
it was nice to talk to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.